just culminating where you put on the weight, you see yourself, oh, it's only half a stone, then it's only a stone, then it's only a stone and a half, and then you're not really seeing within yourself that you're making that big enough change. And then there's always an excuse, isn't it? That's what I always found in myself. It's always like, oh, I'll start this day. It would be like on the 23rd, I'll start the start of the month. Oh, the start of the month is on a Wednesday. Let me start the week. And time just keeps going by. On my birthday, when I weighed myself, I was like, wow, I was the heaviest I've been since I remember recording. And I was like, well, what the hell's going on here? So the view was, no, this isn't normal. But then when I began to move forward, that was the part I would say was the biggest struggle, because it became such a routine to order something, and then rather than going out and be like making sure you can cook, it became such a routine to think it's okay to have desserts when that shouldn't be the case. I wasn't someone who was eating tons of desserts, but now I'm ordering desserts like every third day for the sake of. I was struggling to consistently stop and edge it out of my brain, and that was the biggest struggle, I would say, for sure. And as I said, from when I saw Alex's message, I did see that as a sign, as Marvin, you do need help. You can't just do it yourself. It isn't like it used to be, because if it was, you wouldn't be struggling. You would be on this immediately. There's something you need help with, and that's why I said, okay, let me find out more about this, and decided to take the initiative to speak with Alex. And as he did, then say, okay, yeah, I certainly want to get on this program. When you don't feel that you're good or great, you shy away from things, isn't it? So you'll wear more hoodies, or you'll cower away from like doing presentations and whatnot. So it came into mind because I remember I went to a wedding. I was best man at a friend's wedding during this period of time. I mean, I owned a few suits, and one of the suits was extremely tight on me. And it was like those, you felt uncomfortable and not confident, because in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I've put on so much weight, I feel like terrible. So it makes you self-conscious. And I think from a business standpoint, again, when you feel less confident, then you're not going to feel that you can secure that deal, or you're not going to feel confident in making those presentations. You're going to find excuses not to do certain things that you should do. And it all goes hand in hand, isn't it? Whilst you're working towards something, you're more conscious in thought, you're more disciplined. It provides that focus where you're going to still go ahead and achieve and be more courageous in your attitude and approach. Because I played sports for a long time, I feel it's very easy to just get back into shape. It's not that easy. I probably would have done my own independent stuff. If I'm being confident, maybe lost half a stone. If I'm being confident, if I'm honest, it would have been yo-yoed, because the simple fact was I wasn't trying to change my mentality. I would have been trying to fight the weight. And what I mean by that is by doing runs, by deciding to say this week I'm not going to eat this amount, and that's not going to last, because you may do that for like 20 days. By the 25th day, I might sit there and be like, I've done great this week, that up until this period. Let me eat X or Y, and then X and Y become the regularity back again. And I think that was probably the biggest difference. I'm now eating salmon jerky on a regular basis and loving it. But even for business, I think it's important to reflect where you are and where you're going. So how you keep building, keep planning, keep finding ways to utilize your time to better yourself. I think that those are parts of the journey I thoroughly enjoyed, which I didn't think would come from this, and it did. So it was more like life mentoring opposed to just physically getting better. I think the physical part is important because it breeds that confidence, but also came from it was the mindset of how do I every day get better. If I was to recommend someone, I'd say it's worth doing, and it's great to do, because don't see it as, okay, I weigh this much and I'm just going to lose weight. It's not a personal trainer. Like, you can go to a gym, get a PT to do that. It isn't about that. A PT you hire to literally get you down to weight. This is about changing your mentality, changing your lifestyle. And I think that's what the structure breaks it down into different formats. So it's about working with yourself to really just look at, okay, this is where I am, this is where I want to go. Understand why you are where you are. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's just reflecting. This is where I am. Okay, you want to get better. Okay, what works for you to start with? Again, it becomes conscious of thought, it becomes consistent, and you're slowly developing a discipline within yourself. And I think life is all about discipline. If anyone who's great at anything, it's because they have a discipline, right? So it's creating that discipline for yourself. And it isn't something that's directed by him. It's something that's directed within yourself. It's just channeled through him to let you know. And I think that's all part of the structuring process, because I didn't know what I was going to gain. I knew I was going to gain something, but in my mindset, I thought it was going to be like, you're just going to gain the ability to know you can do it. It was a lot more than that, And therefore, there was so much more gains where it's like, okay, my mind's open. I saw things differently, which is very, very important. I can reflect on things, and then I can review And more importantly, I can react to things differently. That was the great part. And then I can implement them into my being, which is important. Because again, as I said, it's become part of your lifestyle, which I think is important. But that part was very, very, like, I take away as one of the key areas and the best thing I've done. A PT is there to lose weight, while a coach is so much more than that. Whereas before I didn't get the difference, I certainly get the difference now. And like I said, for a PT, you hold them responsible for you to try to lose weight. For a coach, you're held responsible for your own progress, which I think is very, very important. Well, certainly how Alex does that. I can't speak for all other coaches, in fairness. His style is very interesting, and he's very empathetic to what you're going through and what you're trying to do. And as I said, he's a man that seems to have all the answers, which is quite funny. He doesn't act like someone who has all the answers, but he knows when to say it and when to drop it. So I don't know if that's something he's skilled in, is just in general, is just a part of who he is. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this program. I'll say his program, their program is something I would recommend. I would say do it with no hesitation. I think it's something that is a good investment. If you're in the type of jobs that I've done, you can certainly afford it. But more importantly, even if once you're considering it, go forward. I feel it's something that it's a very, very good investment. And as with anything, look at life as this. Everyone looks for ROIs, doesn't it? If you want, you will get a return in your investment on this. It isn't something I can sit there and say it won't help you. It certainly will. It'll open a lot of doors mentally, which I think is very, very important, especially if you're stuck in your job or you're tied down with so many different commitments or got 1,000,001 tasks to do. It will just refocus you, which I think is important. And from a weight perspective, it will certainly get you where you need to go.